Welcome to the Hospo Hacks podcast, where we dive deep into the minds of industry leaders, innovators, and influencers shaping the future of business, tech, and culture. Each episode, we sit down with game changers, disruptors, and visionaries to uncover their journeys, insights, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone hungry for inspiration, this podcast is for you. So sit back, tune in, and get ready to learn from the best. From his two-headed restaurant, The Four in Hand, and follow-up Open Kitchen 414, who is also one of the judges on MKR and features on Better Homes and Gardens, with his most recent project being Food Diaries. Let's have a big Hospo Hacks welcome to Colin Fassnidge. Welcome, Colin.
Thank you.
Now, there seems to be a little pattern here when I was doing a little bit of research on you. As I said, it's all publicly available information. And, you know, we've got the manner of the Four Seasons, in inverted commas, and then we've got the Four in Hand, and then 414. Are you highly superstitious? Is it feng shui? Was it just a fluke? Give us a little bit of a background on it.
Well, Le Mans War, Cat Saison is the fourth. It's not
The man,
Le Mans War, so
Yep,
the manor
manor.
of Four Seasons. It's not their Four Seasons, it's the other hotel. It's a manor in the middle of Oxford. It's a 2 Michelin star restaurant run by Raymond Blanc, who's like the godfather to a lot of chefs.
Right.
Like Top Marco, Pierre White, all these other chefs. So I went there as a 18, 17-year-old. It's a 2 Michelin star kitchen, 40 chefs, old style.
it's crazy.
Old-
40. So there's still 40 chefs.
There probably is now. Well, a lot of them were for free.
So how many tables would how many seats in a restaurant that big?
You did 90 lunch, 90 dinner, but the price of the food was,
Right.
it's next level. But
Right.
it was an old school kitchen. Like what went on then would not fly now, put it that way.
Well, I'm going to put that in our little trip diary when you, me, and Matty Moran go, because we've already teed up our world trip.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that later. So tell us a bit about the old days and what they did then that you wouldn't do now. Well, you don't have to add right into that. How'd they treat you? Bullying, all that sort of stuff.
You were treated like a dog.
Yeah.
Mate, I was very driven, and I was told I wouldn't make it there by relatives who were chefs. So I had a point to prove. So I'm a very stubborn person.
Right.
So I stuck it out. But they hired 9 guys the day they hired me, and within 2 weeks I was the only one left.
Really?
So
What, 2 weeks?
They whittle through. They'll hire them for free. It's a trial.
Oh, yeah. Right,
And then
right.
they'll whittle through what they want. And I ended up staying. And then you get into the groove. So the next group of 9 are come, and then it's your job to get rid of them. They mess with your head and get you into that system. And once you're in, I've seen some bad shit go on. Like I've seen someone get stabbed. I've seen some girl they wanted to get rid of.
They stabbed her.
No, they she had a mental breakdown.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they
right.
pushed her till she did.
Yep.
Screaming, shouting, punching. Just the hours were 16 hours a day. We didn't get fed. It was like any chefs. This thing about fat chefs is forget about it. They were all skinny and gaunt, and you just worked. But it was no one made you do it. I worked there because I wanted.
Was there times when you thought, "What am I doing?" And then was there a time when you saw the light and you can see?
Nah.
Wow.
I thought, what am I doing? Like, but you learned everything. Most of the time you spent cleaning. Like these places are like laboratories. They're clean, and it was later on I learned my own style of food when I took over the Four in Hand or whatever. But those days you were just learning, like a regiment.
And like any sort of workplace, you know, there's assholes. Sorry to be blunt. And then there's good guys that you meant that sort of take you under their wing, you know, and then there's the boss, you know. Was there someone there that really mentored you from the floor, or was it the head chef, Mason?
No, there's Raymond Blanc,
Raymond
but he
Blanc.
had his head chef, Jonathan Wright, who was an absolute animal. Like he was an animal. He was a dick.
Right.
And I'll tell him now.
You know, we'll probably tag him, you know.
I don't care. I Googled him to tell him actually the last night. I couldn't find him.
Right.
He was just a big abusive bully.
Was he English?
Yeah.
Yeah. He
And
probably
I was Irish, so that didn't go down too well. But I think what most of the guys that you linked in with after, like I was there 2.5 years, they became like your best friends.
Yep.
So I still talk to guys around the world.
Well, it's like anything in life. Like when you go through hardship with people, you bond, don't you? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
whether it be a war or whether it be horrible working conditions or, anything that's tough and you
yeah,
go through with someone, you see their character come through and, and
yeah.
you build relationships, right?
But it's I said something like I was like, it's like being in the army, and someone says, "Oh, it's not like being in the army. You didn't go to war." I'm like, "No, we didn't go to war, but we had a group of lads that stuck by each other
100%.
through, you know."
100%.
But I like it was my choice. I could have went and worked in some shitty wherever and got paid double and not learned them. But
Yeah,
like some
100%.
of the stuff I seen, I will never see again, as in produce and the way we did stuff, and I was like top of the top.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously, like every apprenticeship or whatever it is, you're cleaning and you're doing your shit kicking, really.
Oh yeah.
And then when do you actually get to put your hand around on a skillet, or a pan or whatever?
Not straight away, and that's the way it should be. Nowadays, everyone's a hero. Like everyone gets a gold medal.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
had to learn your stripes, and if you couldn't do it, you were gone. It was like a football team. There's only so many rooms, and then if people are paying that amount of money, like fifty pounds back 20 26 years ago, what's that worth? Like £50 for an
yeah,
entree.
yeah, yeah. Right, yeah,
For an entree,
right, right,
fifty
right.
pounds.
Back in the
What's
day,
that worth now? $150 an entree. If they're paying that, you better. It's like the guys who change the tires on the car. They better be good.
and what was the fit out and the environment like? What was the
I was in old manor, but it was like the top of the top cutlery,
this? Yeah,
the wine, mate. You could buy a house with some of the bottles of wine. It's
right.
you know.
So when someone comes in like to start a restaurant like that, do they get backers or do they just, how do
He
you get a name for yourself to start? That's a pretty big, outlay to
I
start.
think he started bought this old manor and built it up, and then it gets in. It's like anything. It's like the Four in Hand was a crappy old pub when we took it over. And then I got one hat, like everyone was knocking it. It's a pub. And I was like, yeah, but I'll show you. And then I ended up getting two hats at a pub.
It's crazy,
First
crazy.
ever pub in Australia to get two hats. Like fine dining, in the top 10 in Australia of restaurants. Matt Moran was here last week. I was just ahead of Aria there.
Yeah.
And
I love a competitive landscape. It's a meritocracy we're trying to run here. But um, so you were there 2.5 years, were you?
yeah.
Did you get your trade through that, or like do you get a trade? Or
No, I went to college before that in
Yeah, right.
Ireland. And then but college is college. It doesn't get you ready for
No,
the real world.
no, 100%.
And then I went into that, and then I was like, I need to take a break for a while because I was burnt.
Yep.
But I met Justin North, who's a Kiwi chef.
Yes.
He was on the next section to me, and he goes, "I'm going to Australia to work in a restaurant called Bank, which was in Martin Place."
Yes.
And he goes, "Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I don't really want to cook again for a while." But anyway, I ended up coming over a few months later.
Did you go to the bank?
Yeah, worked at Bank, and that got three hats here, and that was another asylum. But the difference with that one was everyone in the joint could cook
Yeah, right.
because everyone came. Like when you come from Ireland or England over here, you sort of ring someone you know, and they get you in a kitchen, and if you're good, you're in.
Yeah, right.
I got sponsored within 2 weeks.
Did you?
Yeah,
Yeah, wow.
got my
Wow.
residency.
You're kidding. There
Yeah,
must have been a shortage on chefs at the
it
time.
was 1999, and chefs were the top of the list because the Olympics was coming up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, fair call. Fair call. Yeah, so 2.5 years there, you had your trade, then you came to bank. How did the opportunity come up with the four in hand yeah, so give us a little bit of
Oh,
background of that.
I did. After Bank, I went to Est, worked for Peter Doyle and the Merivale Group. Didn't enjoy that. And then I took an Italian over on Stanley Street. An Irish guy does Italian.
Yes,
It was good though. We could make our own pasta and all.
of
But I
course.
was getting cash in hand, so doesn't matter. At that age, it was fine. I was getting more than I did in any other
Yeah,
place.
yeah, yeah.
And then I went to a place called Le Grand Bouffe it was a cafe in near Balmain, and the owner of the Four in Hand came in for for lunch or dinner because he heard it was good. But it was like there was two of us at the
Who
pans,
was the owner at that stage?
Joe Soleil and Paul
Yeah,
Bard,
right. Yeah,
and there was
yeah.
another guy called Nick Wills. Long story. He wanted to fire me. That's another story. And Joe came in because Brent Savage, who's a great chef, he was leaving and they needed to replace it. And they heard there was this guy in this cafe. and the joint was packed, but the food was good, but for what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
For 2 people cooking it. And he said, do you want to come to the Four in Hand? So we had a big back and forth. Anyway, I got in there, and so this was Four in Hand in, what was it, 2004? It was dead.
I remember growing up because I was in my 30s, and we were I love going to lunch, and we went there a lot. So
But I used to run a restaurant that did 6 covers at night. 6 covers at night, and it sort of got to the stage where it was like, because I did a lot of offal and nose to tail,
yeah.
and that's what I do. And I was like, if you don't like it, I'll go somewhere else. But the other business partners were like, let's fuck him off and turn it into a pizza restaurant, because it's not really working. And Joe was like, well, no, I think it will if we stick with him. So Joe's one of my good friends today, always stood by me. So the other two, they got rid of the other two, and him and Paul Bard stayed. And then, I don't know, we just started to get a little bit of media. And then we got a review, and then we got a chef's hat. And then the bush, we were full for 3 months. You could get in the joint.
Yeah, right.
Once you get it, in those days, in the paper, you get a review. And then we got 2 chef's hats. Like, we're in the top 10 in Australia.
So let's just take it back a step. We're talking chef's hats. We're talking Michelin stars.
Yeah.
Give us a background for the uninitiated. Can you give us a little bit of background on Michelin and how that started? And I think it is to do with the tires, right?
It was Michelin was a book that when in the old days, because the tires were not as good. So if you needed to find a tire, they put a list of garages, and then they'd put a list of restaurants or pubs next to the garage or whatever, and then it sort of combined into one. So you could get your car fixed and something to eat.
So like obviously it's circa like 1920, or is it 40s, or what sort of,
Yeah, it's like the 20s.
Pretty interesting. Yeah.
And then this dawned into this whole other world where it's just
No, of course, and that's the interesting thing about a lot of famous things. They come from these origins where they never the original idea never stuck. So you can find a nice food. You find so who reviews it? How are they giving out? How often are they giving out?
Well, Michelin's like the famous story of you don't know who it is, and
okay. You go in.
You're not meant to know, and then you get, maybe it depends on how many hats or stars you're going to get. Over there it's stars, over here it's hats, but the hats are not. It's different to Michelin, and they're meant to be anonymous. And if you're going to get more than one, they come in a lot more,
right?
But monetary wise, it's very good. And hats used to be very good, but now they've lost any significance they've got. Because in the old days, as I said, you used to get the paper.
But hats were related to the Sydney Morning Herald, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Good Food Guide, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, the guy's dead in the ass. It's a very negative thing to say, but in the old days, because you used to get...
We'll cut that.
No, leave it in. I've said it to their face. Because they cause a lot of trouble, man. They one guy wielding an opinion that closed down, restaurants that your husband and wife might own them, because old mate's having a bad day. It gives them a bad score, and they're closed. And that's the power they wielded.
Well, I was lucky enough to go with a girlfriend at the time who was a Good Food Guide reviewer.
Yeah.
So we go, when you go into a restaurant 6 or 7 days more, because we had to fit these in, right? You get sick of it. And the amount of bloody, pork belly I ate, or I got that sick of pork belly, but it was the thing at the time, right?
Pork belly and scallops.
Yeah, and it was exactly. So I become a reviewer myself, and she'd be asking me like, "What do you think of that? What do you think?"
Yeah,
I was just a punter, So I hope I didn't ruin anyone's career out there, but it's interesting. So Michelin don't come to Australia.
No, they were talking about bringing it over, but I think there's a bit of a revolt on reviewers and all that now, just because social media's come in. There was no such thing as social media.
They would still be going. Yeah.
So now, if there was no social media, they'd still be top of the top.
Yeah.
But like, if you want to find somewhere good to eat now, or you follow a chef, you find out where he eats, or you follow a restaurant, and straight away you will know. Everything's like on your phone.
Yeah, but I always thought the Michelin Man was bad advertising for the Michelin restaurants. You don't end up like that big fat bloke, do you? You want to stay healthy. I mean, this day and age.
I just think everything's on your phone now. And you can find a lot more people with a lot more, like, just ask chefs where it's good to eat. instead of some guy sitting in the office of the paper who doesn't
Well,
cook.
mate, I'll be out and I'll ring you up. That's sweet. Saturday
Yeah.
after. Where are we going tonight? All right, it's good to know. So let's go back. So you're from Dublin?
Yep.
Yeah. Temple Bar around that area, is it?
No.
No, whereabouts?
That's mate. You're a tourist.
Yeah, I'm a
That's-
tourist. Of course I was.
I was born in a place called Tala, which is like rough. And then, but you know, what I mean, it's a great place to live. When
Yep.
we were like, I left there when I was 6, and I moved to a place called Casanock, which is considered posh.
Right.
So I went from yin to yang. So like, if I told the guys in Tala I lived in Casanock, I'd probably get bashed. But my old man owned a shoe shop, and he worked his ass off, man, to buy the house we lived in. And
was he a cobbler or he just ran a
well,
shoe
he
shop?
fixed shoes, but he
Yeah,
sold
right.
shoes, but he could fix shoes.
Yeah, right.
And he just like he worked 6 days a week to pay for that house, and so did my mother. So like our where we lived was quite good, and I always wanted to cook. I think I was.
Was it the raspberry tarts or something you cook for your grandma, or didn't? Is this
My mother used to make.
mum? That's right. Yeah, your mum.
What was it? Cherry tarts.
Cherry tarts.
Yeah,
that's
my
it.
mother's a great cook. My old man's a good cook as well, actually, and he used to cook 2 days a week. And back then, if you said you wanted to be a chef, it was sort of like the Billy Elliot story. Like, I'm not throwing shade at anyone, but it was like, are you gay? And you're like, well, I like to cook. And I'm not throwing shade on anyone.
Did you like knitting as well?
Yeah, I did actually. Crafts. I was great at crafts.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the sort of male attitude that went on back then.
Stereotyping,
Yeah,
100%. They shut you down.
and you're like, well, what if I was gay?
Yeah.
You know, but that's in Irish old.
Oh yeah,
men are men, and you don't
yeah.
talk about your feelings.
100%.
So my parents said,
It was here too, you know.
Yeah, if you're going to be a cook, go to the best places. So that's what I did.
So you love cooking that much?
I hated school.
Yeah, right.
I got to the end, but I hated it.
That's what you and Matt have got in common. Both hated school. You want to leave.
Most chefs, I think maybe it's different now because the industry is a different world. But back then, it was sort of seen as a place where you send drop kicks.
Well, I think that, I don't know about that. Well, the drop kicks are going all right these days, aren't they?
Oh, yeah,
really?
the drop kicks have come good. We're
Yeah,
all drop kicks
Well,
have
I
come
mean,
good.
but it's sort of like he's a little bit rebellious, a bit recalcitrant. But then then they throw you in an environment where you have to do what you're told.
Yeah. It's a very you like to be told that you're not very good for a lot of time by teachers and whatever. You sort of do build up that sort of, oh well, I'll prove you wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
And then because you're like sort of fighting to get to where you are, but when you go into these big joints, like they're the big dogs, man. If you don't do what they say, you're gone.
Yeah. So, you know, like you've come to Australia now. You've left. I forgot to mention you're a bit scarred by Nana. She told you about Santa or something. Is that right? She didn't she?
So what were you reading, man? Oh, my grandmother, she was good, man. She was straight 180. One year we were like, it was Christmas, and I think we were like 11 or something. And me and my sister, she's like, mate, you're taking the piss. Like, stuff's expensive. There's no such thing as Santa. We were like, fucking hell. All right, calm down. She's good though. My grandmother was great. She was like very supportive, and you know, if you want to be a cook, a chef, that's what you do.
100%. Yeah, exactly. So, Four and Ann came out here. Then what? So you were there for like 9 years.
10
years. Yeah, right. And what was the impetus for you to move on from there? Like you just had enough, or they sold the pub, or
no? I think I was there for 10, and I think for about 7 years I was on a wage. And I was working 16 hours a day like a dog. But I loved it. It was some of the best times ever. I still go, wish I could go back to those days. And I just worked my ass off. And we made our name, mate. We were known in Chefland, and we were known as hard chefs, and the food was good. So that was up my entire world. And then my wife gets pregnant, and I was like, oh, shit. And then like the world changes. And then I was like, I'm just getting a wage here. And this joint is making so much money. It was full, like you could not get any more people in the joint. And I was like, I'm going to get a backer and leave. And Carla Jones, my sous chef, was going to come in with me, and we were trying to get cash together between us. We didn't have any cash.
Yep.
So I told the owner, because he's a good friend, I said, look, man, I'm thinking of leaving. I need to get more money because I can't just get paid a wage every week. And the wages back then were crap anyway. It's not like now.
Particularly when you're seeing what they're making, right? And you're the reason they're coming.
Yeah. And then that's the problem with restaurants who have a chef who does well as a name. Like, when they leave, you're just left with a room. So he was very clever, and he goes, "We'll lend you the 900 grand from the four in
So
hand."
when was that?
That was
So that was 2012
yeah,
or about
So
2000.
anyway, we borrowed 900 grand, as you do, and
Well, mate, it's
we
still a lot of money,
yeah
isn't it?
oh
Really?
yeah oh mate, and then we built 414s because we had to put in the grease traps, the bar,
But 414 was in
Surrey Hills.
Surrey Hills. Where about what street?
Was it Vavo? Fitzroy. And we built this cool restaurant open that did 160 covers a night. It was an open kitchen. Joe from Four in Hand came into business with me, and Carla. There was three of us, four of us, five of us actually in the end. And we paid back the 900 grand in 6 months in dividends.
Really?
Oh, the place.
Wow.
We had two hats in the Four in Hand, and we got one hat at the Brasserie 414. And man, it was just packed. It was a great time.
So
Great.
did you do that? You said from nose to tail
Yeah.
before. That means that you use everything, correct?
Yeah, we buy all the animals whole
Yeah.
and then break them down. And I used to like to annoy some people as well. Like, if they're a bit prim and proper and sitting at the kitchen in 414, I'd break down the pigs in front of them.
Right. Yeah.
But we had to, because it was the open kitchen. But some nights you'd just go, let's just,
Yeah. You can
let's
see
just
we can
stir them up.
mess this table up. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And so then you started to, because you're a business partner, you started to see the success of the business. Well, let's talk about that. So I was talking to Matt again, Moran, about this last week
Yeah.
or the week before. It's different when you run the business. You start to see the wages coming in. You
Yeah.
start to see, the price of, ingredients. Everything starts to cost money. You got to pay rent. You got to pay this, and then you look at and you go, shit. There's not much left.
Right.
Now, did that give you an insight into not just cooking, but into actually running a business?
I think when you run your own business, I clean the toilets in between lunch and dinner.
Hope
Like,
you
I
washed your
mop the
hands. Did you
toilets.
wash your
Oh
hands?
yeah, 100%. Clean the sinks, clean the toilets. I fix the chairs at the tables, make sure the windows, there's no stains in the windows. Then
That's exactly right.
do you know what I mean? It's not just because it's hospitality, but my wife is in it as well. And for me to sit here and say, "Oh, I control all the money," my business partner Joe, that was his job. Hit figures
Yep.
to the cent was his job. My job was the face and get people through the door.
Yep.
He made sure everything was same with my wife. So, because you need someone else that's really good at that, because chefs are not known for their
Well, Matt says that that's his strong point, right?
Yeah.
And every business has, every marriage is different, but
Mm.
he said he knows his figures, like he knows them straight like that bus. And mate, it is reassuring, I think, for someone like you too. If you're not good at it, to outsource it, then you don't have to worry about it. Then you can focus on what you're good
Yeah,
at,
but
right?
not that you're not good at it, but sometimes shit goes bad and your ego gets in the way and you don't want to admit something. But if you've got someone like who doesn't cook and is like, we need to sort this out. So we'd have meetings every week.
100%.
We all sit down and go through everything, what's working, what's not working. Is the wages too high? You know what I mean?
100%.
Or if, like, on Sundays, if we did Sunday lunch, do we need a kitchen hand on a Sunday when we've got a chef standing in the corner scratching his arse? Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And a kitchen hand's getting paid $50 an hour.
I know.
So you're like,
recently, yeah.
we give old mate the day off, and there's days I did it. So it's about,
No, 100%.
because the margins are so small in food, and then your dishwasher breaks on a Saturday, it's all might cost you $400. That's like, how much food has that gone just
Well,
to
if
fix?
it's not your plumbing mate, like
Yeah.
Matt Scott,
Oh,
one of our
plumbers, yeah,
mates,
Matty
he's just
Scott.
going to charge you double for
That's
sure.
what they're all driving the big cars. But it's you learn very quick. But it's a great industry if you love it. But when it goes wrong, which 414 did, it's horrible.
So what happened there? I
Uh,
love hearing this. Adversity and yeah, what happened? Tell us the story.
we were there for 6 years. For 5 years, we made so much cash and dividends and whatever, paid everything off. Everything was rosy. And then the lockout laws came in. And then
The lockout laws from the punch, that one punch.
And then
So but you weren't open till 3/8.
doesn't matter. I was in the circle, and the trams were starting to come in. the building.
Yeah, right.
So what happened was the area was a circle and restaurants inside the circle or bars. I could stay up till 3 if I wanted. But people didn't go inside the circle anymore.
Yeah, right.
They went outside the circle because they didn't want to get a taxi from
Well,
there to
everyone used
there.
to go to Newtown. I remember
Yeah.
it was like,
So
yeah.
that's when they boomed, or what was it down in the Sheaf and all that? They used
Yeah,
to go out there.
Double Bay. That's right.
So
yeah.
Surrey Hills turned from like bustling to tumbleweeds. So I was doing 160 covers a night, and then it dropped to 60.
So that was just before COVID, wasn't it? So that was.
Oh, it was a bit before COVID, yeah, a little bit. But
because I remember that guy he got punched at the cross. Can't remember his name.
there was a few
of them.
A few incidents, but it was a knee-jerk reaction to they
Mate,
didn't
if
really
they did that in
think it
Ireland,
through.
there'd be nothing open, wouldn't it?
Well, Ireland closes at 11.
Yeah, right.
So like the last orders is 6 points in a go. Like let's go.
Yeah,
Each.
100%. Yeah. You can't kick me out of this trunk.
But it was a good learning lesson because me and my wife ran 4:14 and didn't take a wage for a year.
Yeah, right.
And I was fucking so angry. But you know,
so
that's business.
did you sell it?
I sold it for 40 grand with everything in it just to get out of the next 7 years of the lease because the rent was 4.5 grand a week rent.
Yeah,
plus
right.
outgoings.
Yeah.
Plus wages, plus food, right?
Yeah.
So if I close the door, I still have to pay 4.5 grand a week.
Yeah. No.
So the 40 grand I get said, here I'm out.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best days ever. But that's good because ego didn't get in the way. It's like the business is failing. You need to get out of it. And we didn't owe anyone any money. We paid everyone off.
Well, mate, that was so. Can you give me a circa what that was?
When did I do that? 2000. I think maybe I got out there. When did I leave? Maybe about 5-6 years ago. Was
because then MKR came along, right?
I got hired MKR in the middle of all that.
Oh, right,
Before that.
Before that, right?
Yeah. I got asked to because I was known as quite angry.
They wanted reactions, did they? They wanted good TV.
They just heard I was quite fiery, and I'd been in a couple of stoushes on social media, and they're like, "This guy's like, trouble.
He's perfect.
He's problem." And I got asked into Channel 7, and there was a big long table, and Ricky Proust is a good friend of mine now, who ran the show, goes, "We want you to do this show called MKR." I was like, "What's MKR?" He's like, "It's my kitchen." I said, "Man, I'm too busy. I work."
And obviously, this was a counter to MasterChef.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I said no, and he goes, "I'll give you 40 grand." And I was like, "Fucking 40 grand? That's all right."
What, 40 grand for the season or for
the season?
And how many shows is that?
Oh, it was a long time, man. It was like 4 months or whatever.
Right.
But you know, it was something new. I always do stuff that's exciting.
But you got it. I'm not saying celebrity drives everyone, but it'd be nice to be on TV, right, and get your name out there, and then things propagate from there.
Yeah, but you don't think like that. It's just because I was chef. I looked down upon people on TV as chefs. And then I went and did a few eps, and I was not very good. And they told me I wasn't very good. And that gets back to the whole, when I was in England, if someone tells you you're not very good, I'll go, right, I've a point to prove.
Right. And what were they saying about why you weren't good?
Because they would give me a script, like a block of 100 pages.
You couldn't remember.
But it's not really based on a script, but it's a guideline.
Yeah.
But no one told me that. And I'm like, fucking hell, man. I can't get paid by page 1. And then there's cameras everywhere. There's so much shit going on. There's 100 people behind, and you make a mistake and you got to say something again. Like, and you don't have any media training. It gets in your head. And then I wasn't.
And then you get like a little bit self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not very good, and you're like, oof. But because I was good in my own business, and then suddenly I'm in another business that I'm not very good, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Anyway, I got very good very quick because I had to. Because they basically said, "I'm going to fire you."
Did they? So what? So what? You learnt to study, or you stayed up late with?
I used to with some of the producers practice on our break or whatever, on just how to talk to people or how to project yourself or like try not to get in your own head. And I still work with those. I was working with them yesterday, actually. So
well, from what I've seen on TV, you don't seem that angry anymore. What's going on?
Nah. I had teenagers back then. But then they sort of wanted the angry guy, and I played into that.
The Gordon Ramsay type.
Yeah, not really that hard, but I used to work for Gordon. I just thought that's what you do. And then one day I'm in the supermarket and someone's like, "You're a wanker," and I was like, "You forget people watch it." And I was like,
"Are
"Oh,"
you serious?"
and I'm like, "Actually, you're right." Yeah, I am a bit of a wanker actually. And how do I? So I went back to them and said, "Look, we like after a few years, then obviously I got paid more than 40 grand when I started getting good." I said, "We need to change this because that's not who I am. Like maybe in the kitchen I am, but that's a different ball game."
Yeah. I think that people forget there is a bit of a, a role being played there.
Oh
A bit of
yeah,
character.
I was playing it up, and even my wife's like, "Fuck, you're a dick." Like she'd watch it, and then we changed it, and now like I've had my kids are 14 and 15, nearly 16. Like that, there's women dramas in my. I live with 3 women,
Oh Jesus!
so now I'm like I got to work
I'm not
for a
saying
rest.
anything. Yeah. So MKR, are you still doing that? Is that still?
I'm in the middle of it. I go away tomorrow. I filmed yesterday. I had 3 hours sleep. I did something else. I've got today off. Hello, how are you? I'm here. And then
Squeeze this in.
tomorrow I go to Perth till Saturday. Then I have a day off. Then I go to Adelaide. Then I have a day off. Then I do Brisbane. And then I go back to Adelaide. And we go around the country 3 times.
And what's that in aid of? Is this a new show?
No, that's MKR.
That's MK. Really?
So what? What am I doing? I do Better Homes and Gardens.
Yeah.
So I do that for 3 months to get enough EPs because that's on a Friday. And then I stopped that, and because I'm not allowed to do Better Homes when I do MKR because the hours are too long. So I do MKR for 3 months. Then I start Better Homes again, and then me and Manu have got another show called Off the Grid, which is him and me in a caravan, which we filmed in New Zealand for 2 months. So that's on in a few weeks, and then we go back to do season 2.
Oh, we're going to have to get Manu on the show eventually.
Oh yeah, he'll talk underwater.
Oh yeah, he's a lovely bloke. I don't know how we might have to have the subtitles under him. Just
maybe for me as well, but
no, you're sweet. You're sweet.
Yeah, no, I did 5 shows last year. Touch wood, very lucky, but too much time away.
No, but I mean, you're lucky. The kids aren't like they're still formative, but it's not like it was. Like literally, what you say, 16 and 14. They know who you are. They know you're not going anywhere. They know you love them. All those important things.
Yeah, but I was away for 8 months.
Yeah,
like your missus has to deal with a lot of stuff. And in saying that, I want to be around. I'm not the sort of dad that doesn't want to be around.
Of course,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying that, it's not as you're allowed to have a career as well without.
But I mean, I was like, I get to fly to Okinawa and maybe not Mongolia. It wasn't glamorous, but other places are, right?
And who picked that? Who picked Mongolia? Was that you?
My business partner.
You should sack him. That's ridiculous. You know.
I agreed. Fuck.
Jesus.
But that was like I get to go and do all this weird and wonderful stuff. But sometimes it's not wonderful. It's just weird, right? Because the amount of work involved in making TV shows, there's no glamour.
Yeah, no, 100%. But you what was his name? The famous blogger.
Bourdain.
Yeah. What was it again?
Anthony Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain. Sorry, yeah. Famous. He was one of the first travel guys out there, wasn't he?
Well, there was travel shows, but he's a chef, and then he just told it like it was. Like everyone.
But he was
insightful
too. Like like what he said he
was a
meaning,
writer. He was a writer and a chef, and he would tell it like it is.
Yeah.
Rather than just give you the wishy-washy.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Oh, just buy into it."
Yeah, no. He really looked into how it related to real life, and he was really reflective on a lot of things. And because I think I told you earlier, I do jiu-jitsu, and he did jiu-jitsu as well, and he spoke really highly of it.
Yeah, his wife got him into it.
Did she? Yeah.
Because he was very addictive, like most chefs, and he went from drugs to cooking to travel, and then his wife got him into jiu-jitsu, and then he went all into that. Like the
mind,
but that was good for his head.
Yeah. No, you don't have to tell us too much, but with your life, is there any addictions in your life that you can talk about, or is it just the passion that got you?
No, I would say the Fassnidges coming from that side of my old man's side was a very addictive I would say, strain in that DNA of the Fassnidges. And a lot of my old man's, he's probably the only one of the normal ones. A lot of them died of alcohol and drugs. There was 12 kids, and a lot
Catholic,
of them, yeah,
obviously.
a lot of them died. And I seen when I was younger, like he'd look after people and give them cash or whatever, and go around and look after the kids when they're smashing up the house. He'd take the kids. Like I've seen the drugs and drink what it does, and I'm very aware that it's probably in my DNA. So, like most chefs, I gave it a good nudge in the early days, but I knew you have to
But you
stop.
still haven't lost the. Everyone's so serious about life too now. Like, fuck,
Oh no,
don't
no,
drink, do 100 push-ups a day.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
still got to enjoy yourself, like literally,
Oh
don't you?
yeah, I
Like, and it's a
do.
balance,
But
obviously.
like, I prefer sleep over
Yeah,
sitting in some shitty bar at 3 in the morning now.
hundred
Do you
percent.
know? I like
Priorities are 100%.
I like getting up and going. I swim and whatever. But I still drink. Love whiskey.
Oh, well, so a whiskey I'll drop off to you.
Yeah,
Not,
whiskey
yeah,
instead of
sweet, done,
tequila would be
done, done.
better. Like mate, I I've just changed the balance. That's all.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the thing that about like drinking or anything you do. If you do it that much, you don't really appreciate. You don't enjoy it as much as when you do it. But if you train and you got a good and you work hard, you train hard, and then you have a beer or a
yeah,
drink or a
yeah,
scotch or whatever you're into, that actually means something.
yeah.
That's how it is to me anyway.
Well, I in chefland, I know so many chefs. Like, I'm very lucky to have gone on to do what I do, but I make my own luck as well. So it's not really luck either. But I go back and meet a lot of guys who are my age. Like, I'm 52 this year, and like I've got the back is sore, the legs are sore, whatever, from years of bending. But
Yep, yep.
guys who've never left the kitchen and are still 52 are fucking angry, man. Like,
Yeah,
and they've
yeah.
every right to be, because you're locked in a box, mate, more of the time with no windows. It's
And
hot, it's sweaty, and you don't get any thanks for it.
but that's where we talk about mental health these days, and let's talk about the chef life being hard and it's abusive, and then there's a pecking order, of course, and then there's failure.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like
Used to be like that. Now you wouldn't get away with anything now.
even really like
No.
I know that in Australia you wouldn't, but like, do you think it's the same overseas? Like, I'm not talking about Mongolian restaurants.
Yeah, no. no. Uh, I think the whole world's changed.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's not bad, right? It's not. It's
oh, it's good and it's bad. Look, I could send my daughter to a kitchen now and I wouldn't have a problem. My daughter works in cafes on the weekend and after school, and I don't have a problem worrying about what she's going into. Years ago, fucking hell, I wouldn't send her near it.
100%. Yeah,
But they only do so many hours now, and then someone will complain because I've said you need to do more hours, right? But no one breaks down pigs and sheep and fish anymore. They buy it all in a box.
yeah.
Because they can't, because the wages, they can't afford to pay someone to do it. That's my whole problem with the new world is we've lost the art of prepping or from raw, because people don't want to do the job. Like, they all want to sit on the beach and look at the sunrise and the sunset, but they don't want to do the work.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think
And I'll probably get in a lot of trouble for that, but
I think
it
that's
can't go back to what it was of abuse. But there has to be a bit of, you learn the industry.
I honestly think that people do look at people like you who have actually made something out of Hospo. Like, Hospo's a career now. It never
Yeah,
like it was like
yeah.
you go and work in a pub and you're a waitress. You're just probably a struggling artist or struggling
An actor. A
actor
waiter
or
was an
whatever it
actor,
is,
yeah.
But actually, people see it, and
They're proud.
Dave Clifton's a mate of mine. He's a CEO of a big group now. He started on the floor. Like, there's guys that are out there seeing it and working really hard to get to those CEO levels now, and that's actually good money, So,
Yeah.
let alone TV and
But see, the problem is, if you're a chef and you want to be on TV, that's the biggest
yeah. So
red
I
flag.
get what you're saying, yeah, but you're just
Because,
a wanker. You are a wanker,
yeah,
right?
they want to skip the whole why you became a chef. I fell into it by accident. I didn't want to be on TV, but you get so many young guys who just want to be on TV and cut out the middleman of the learning and the working and then just be this guy on TV.
See, I think that the MKR model, right, is like it could be like what is it, the Voice or what's
Yeah.
the one Kyle's on? You could be like Now, with those, is there chefs like there's so many good singers out there now, and you see them on those shows. What's Cole's show called? Uh, Not The Voice.
Australia's Got Talent.
Channel 7. Australian Idol, or Australia's
Australian
Got
Idol.
Talent.
Yeah, whatever.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, it is Idol. Yeah,
It's Idol, right?
I should know that.
So Kyle, and then you see this talent coming through, these young guys, and then Kyle might grab one, produce them. And do you see that sort of talent on the cooking?
Last year was they had the guys who won, even the guys who came second. There was Kaz Fergus. I went to their opening of their restaurant in Tasmania.
Oh, yeah,
I said, if you open one, I'll go. I told them on the show, and they went and did it. And then Simone and Viviana made the pasta. The pastry, I could not replicate it. That's how good it was. And they go on to do other things. There's a small amount that go on and do it, and the rest don't. But that's like anything.
No, 100%. But it is a really good platform for that, isn't it? Like, like Idol, you can go on and be.
It is if you're clever and you get a little bit of media training, because when you finish these things, mate, the social media.
This is what I'm saying. But then you're going, they're wankers, and they're probably only going on the show to become famous. But they are good.
But there is like a contingent to that, and I try and whittle that out pretty quick myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm
you don't want any competition either.
Well, mate, they're not.
I'm kidding, mate. I'm kidding.
I don't. I just like it's the wrong. There's always going to be people who want.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
You got to go in for the purest intentions, right? To love food, to love cooking.
Oh yeah, but sometimes like you'll see people and you get to like them, and they're not. They become better as they go on, and you'll sort of help them a bit, like guide them a bit. And then the ones who are just want to be like the 15 minutes, you're like, nah.
And you can read them pretty quick,
mate. It doesn't take long.
So, you've met a lot of famous people through, obviously cooking, and obviously a lot of chefs. And tell us about Nigella. I used to love watching her. I wasn't really looking at the food at the time. She was a very good looking woman. She still is.
Still is.
So tell me, didn't they tell you to, tone the language down because it's like cooking with the Queen or something?
It was a bit of a boys' club when we're not just swearing and acting up and being idiots and running around corridors and kicking footballs, and when you're not meant in a studio. And then they'd be like, "Oh, Nigella's coming on," and I always fancied Nigella, like, but just the way she talks, the way she cooks, the way, and I was like, wow,
the way she articulates what she's doing with food.
Yeah, and they always say, "Don't meet your heroes," And then I met her, and straight away we clicked straight away, and then we'd hang out after and go for dinners and whatever.
Did you have one of those pinch me moments where you go, "What? This is ridiculous."
All the time.
Yeah.
Even when I'm filming sometimes, and I go, sometimes you got to go. You're lucky. It's like, don't take shit for granted.
Yeah.
Don't be rude to people on set. Don't be, because you know what, you're lucky compared to what could be happening.
100%.
So I've started doing that a lot more as I got older.
That's called gratitude.
Yeah.
You know that? Yeah.
Because I remember where I came from.
Yeah, of course you do.
And what I was told I wouldn't be. I started as a pot washer, washing pots for
years. That's probably why you have those thoughts. It wasn't easy for you. You had to work your way up. You worked 16-hour days.
Yeah.
You've had your battle,
But TV is I know a lot of people in TV who get a taste of it and turn into the biggest dickheads. Or
are you going to rattle them off by biggest?
No. Well, they're not in TV anymore. Put it that way. Everyone goes, "Oh, I wouldn't do that show." Yeah, but you didn't get asked back. That's why.
Yeah.
The TV can. It's like there was a moment I could have went that way, and my missus is pretty like she'll call you out straight away.
They keep you grounded, don't they?
Yeah, but there's a TV land can sell you the dream and keep telling you you're whatever, and if you buy into that, you're gone.
Yeah, 100%. Plenty have.
Yeah.
Oh. So who are your culinary heroes, if you have any? Have you met them all?
No. Well, I did a gig once in Great Escape, which was in Margaret River, and Pierre Kaufman was there. So he's a old school famous chef. So he trained like Marco and a few others, and then Marco was there.
So when you say trained, are they all French trained? Are they
no? These were in London. but he was French. Raymond Blanc's French, but
yeah.
in England. These are like the Rolling Stones of chefs, right? And if you're a chef who knows his worth, you know who these people can. There's dishes that these guys created, the entire world knows,
Yeah,
right?
right.
It's like a single or a song.
Yeah,
And
right, okay.
I met it. I was like, "Fucking Pierre Coffin, like, I've always wanted to meet you." And he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm doing a pig dish," and he's famous for his pig, and I'm fucking sweating. I'm like, and I said to him, "He's famous for a pig trotter dish," and I was like, "Fuck the pig trotter, I love that dish." He's like, "Fuck that dish, man, I'm sick of it," and I was like, "You're one of us."
Yeah, right.
And then he watched my demo, and I made this, and he came to me and went, "That's a fucking great dish," and I love the way he did, and I was like a hero tells you
Yeah,
you've done
wow.
something good. And then I was talking to Marco Pierre White and Pierre Coffin, and we were all just having a beer. And I was like, "These are my idols," and I'm just having a beer with them, and they're talking to you like
Like
a
contemporaries
normal,
or like,
like
yeah,
they're
like
not like
they're not above you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we went out for dinner that night to this house, and we got pissed, and my wife's like, "You're just beaming,"
Yeah,
like
100%.
yeah. So chefs are sort of the here. Like I've met heaps of celebrities and whatever, but like Chef
No,
Land,
I meant that. I didn't
yeah.
mean like heroes as
I
in.
cooked Friedel in our house once. That was a bit odd.
Did you ever? Because there are plenty of people, plenty of chefs do that. They cook for famous people, and that's their job, right? They
Mm.
Justin from Bronny, rest his soul.
Oh, yeah,
He used to be for In Excess.
yeah.
For Michael Hutchins. There's a few like that, and then they go on and do good things. You never want to do that for anyone, or it's not because you get to
Uh,
travel the world and
yeah, but it's I don't think it's as glamorous as it's like you talk about TV or whatever. Like I was so in my restaurants trying to get whatever and make it, that was a time and a place.
yep.
So I don't like I wouldn't go back to do that now. Like I mean now I wouldn't go back and do 16 hours in the kitchen.
But that's what you had to do to get to where you
Yeah,
are, right?
yeah.
So like, and you sort of, you probably would have to still do it, wouldn't
But
you? Or
like
go on My Kitchen Rules.
But I say to some people, like, say my restaurants did really well and made top 10, but that's not for everybody. Some people like working in a cafe and they go home happy and that's their job. Some people work in a hospital as a chef and fucking love it and that's their job. It's a different
Yeah,
path.
yeah, of course.
So I'm not casting aspersions on different chefs, but I'm just like, would I want to go and work for celebrities now? Because they'd probably be a
Yeah,
nightmare, and
yeah,
and
they
I'd
would
end up
be.
getting fired.
Of course you would. That's when you'd be the angry chef, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we try and do this with all the guests, and last week we asked our guest because he was from the Australian Hotels Association what his favourite 5 pubs are. I'm going to stay in Australia today. I'm sorry to do that to you, but we got a bit of uh, social media backlash for not mentioning Australian restaurants or Australian
Pubs.
pubs, eateries, whatever you want to call it.
Social media is
Can
great.
you give me
isn't
5
it?
of your best in Australia that I could not drive to, but eventually get there?
Pubs. Oof.
No, it doesn't have to be pubs, restaurants, but
Man,
pubs are where you come from.
whose new pub's good? The Red Lion. It used to be an absolute shithole, and that's in Roselle.
Yeah.
The Four in Hand. I had a beer there a few weeks ago, like just for
We know the
nostalgia.
beer's good.
Yeah, just for the. I'm not saying that, but just for nostalgia. Oh, like it was a great pub. The Grand Nash used to be great. That's
Yeah.
St. Peter now. What pubs? Jeez, I used to drink in Kinsella's and remember when Barons in the old days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm not really in pubs anymore.
What about restaurant?
I go to Pork Fat down in
Haymarket?
Haymarket. Great family restaurant. I brought Nigella there actually, and she wrote a spiel about him.
Really?
Next thing, we were filming and we said, she goes, "Oh, do you want to go for dinner tonight?" And we were like, "Okay, we'll sort it."
So you've just gone from so now you're best mates with it, right?
Oh, I wouldn't say best mates, but we're friends.
Yeah.
And she goes, but the story was, she's like, "Can you get us in?" Well, me and Manny were like, "We can get you in anywhere." Do you know who we are? So we ring Pork Fat and we're like, "Can you get us a table?" They're like, "No, we're full." And I was like, "Oh, fuck."
Do you know?
And I said, "Look, you just get me the table." They're like, "No, Colin, we can't. Like, it's full." And I said, "Look, mate, I guarantee you need to do this." And he's like, "Fuck, all right." So he moved someone, got us a table in the corner. So our wives went, Nigella and Manu, me. And I didn't tell them. And when they walked in, they're like, "Holy shit, that's Nigella." Like, they didn't fucking bother about us, but they're like,
So you didn't drop a name?
No. And then I said, I told you. And then she had a meal, and the way she writes is amazing. Like anytime we film with her, because her critiques are so good, like we're like bumbling idiots, and then she makes you better.
Oh, she's amazing. She's
Well,
amazing. She's poetic. She's poetic.
Yeah, you hear her critique, you're like, I need to lift my game. So anyway, she went in and she had dinner there, and then she wrote this spiel on her mate. They were full. Like it was worth so much cash.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, for
people are
sure.
just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, we're going there.
100%.
And now I go in, they gave me like a tea set, like a proper tea set for Christmas and everything. I went in. They're really nice family, but I go there. Spice I am. Yeah. Spice I am.
It's good. Yeah, yeah, 100%.
I like spicy food.
Yeah.
Fine dining. Or I go to Esther's quite good.
Where's that?
It's Chippendale, isn't it? I think so. Oh, look, I don't go to fine dining and that anymore, or not as much. Or Nell's pretty good down on Wentworth Avenue.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yep.
Just because I don't have the time to sit there for 6 hours.
Yeah, yeah. And what do you think it is about food? You know, it's obviously the taste, you know, but it's about the experience. You know, what is it about humans and food, and why is everyone so passionate about it? Is it it brings, you know, you might not go with your family, you might go with your wife, you might go on your own, but it is amazing. I love it. Like I love it. I love going to a good restaurant. I love trying new food, the experience, the ambience, the atmosphere, the music, whatever. You know, what do you think it is?
Well, funny you should say that because we just started a new company called Food Diaries,
Right.
which is a show.
Good segue.
Yeah, see that I've got that in. That's my own company. Rob Roberts, James White, myself started this company called Food Diaries, where we go around the world and ask that question: what is food? And like we went to places like Mongolia, where they're eating horse, yak. There's no vegetables. We went in the winter. It's -45, and food is fuel. And then we would bring spice and pickles and give it to them, and they're like, "Oh, I've never had." And we're like, "How did you never eat
Because
that?"
the food, from what I spoke to Whitey, was quite bland, right? So horse
Meat. All they eat is meat and fat, just to get
the energy,
to
right?
get
stay
energy.
warm,
But
yeah.
then they die at 65. But they drink heaps of piss as well. But then we went to Cambodia, and it's all about spice. And then, but the common denominator, and then Okinawa, because they're one of the healthiest people in the world, they're like 110. We were with a group of women who were 110 who cooked for us, and they were getting up the stairs faster than us.
Really?
And it was the whole, getting back to your question, is food sort of unites people. And for me, the reason I became a chef is because I sat around a kitchen table with my parents, and you only had the one phone in the hall. You didn't have, so everything was about talking. Like I might have been getting suspended from school, or I might have been, getting an award or something, but everything happened around the table. And to me, that's food is love, and then food is you eat something. Like you can eat something now, and you can go back to when you were 7.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
So
like a scent. It's
yeah,
like
yeah, or you smell something, or you taste something.
yeah.
It's a great vehicle. Like obviously, some people don't give a shit about food. That's fine, right? They got other passions. But for a lot of the world, it's what was your parents gave you, what your grandparents gave you, and then or you went to a country and you had that. So it's for me, it's sensory.
Yeah, 100%. And I think how amazing is it when you have a totally different texture than what you were expecting from food, like the way they prepare, and you go, this shouldn't be tasting like this, you know, or it feels different, or just the whole sensory overload you get from it, don't you?
But in saying that, like my kids are little pricks, and I'm going to say that on here, you pricks, because I cook for my kids like it's a restaurant. Like mate, we had rack of pork last night with the best crackling ever and called cannon and everything, and my kids are like, nah, that's not right. That's not right. And I'm like, mate, when I'm not around, you guys are going to realize how good you got it. Right.
So that's a good that's the good excuse to travel, mate. Say, look, back to the 2-minute noodles, or you know.
But it's just because they've grown up to it, like I grew up to it, and maybe I didn't like my mother used to make stew all the time, and I didn't appreciate it, and now I'm like, I fucking love stew.
No, I think we've all got those stories in our lives, you know, and so what's the future hold for Colin Fassnidge?
Try not as work as much as last year because I didn't come out with last year too good. I was just mentally I was shattered.
Yep.
I did 5 shows in a row. I was just broke. I've never broke myself, but I broke myself last year. I took December off just to get back to
I
normal.
think everyone else does the same thing, like.
But it wasn't alcohol; it was just travel.
Yeah.
And just working too hard, because our gigs, you don't really plan on the next gig, because you like, if your ratings are bad, you don't have a show. So it's not sort of a job where you know you're going to be there next year.
Yeah, no, that's where, like, at the end of the day, I mean, you've got the track record, and it's just that you probably don't want to do it again, but you've always got something to fall back on. It's like a tray, right?
Oh yeah.
But you want to, if you're doing what you're doing, you don't want to go backwards, do you?
Yeah. So what are we doing next year? We'll finish MKR, which we're in the middle of now, that's a killer on the hours. I've got Better Homes for the rest of the year. That's good because it's on every Friday, and that's got huge. Lots of people watch that.
Yep.
They're modernising that, so it's good. Food Diaries we're selling to streaming. We're not going to say who yet. So that's our own baby.
Guess.
So that's my plan B, because we own that. Whereas the other ones can fire you.
Yeah, right.
I can't fire
okay,
myself.
Yeah, okay.
And then me and Manu go back to do season 2 of Off the Grid in the caravan. So we'll be busy arguing again for another month.
Sounds like a full card, and it looks like you're gonna have December off again. Because you're not.
I've blocked off December.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you've said, you're working hard. I don't think you've changed too much, but I want to say thank you for coming on the show, Colin. It was been a pleasure. Really lovely to get to know you and
thank you.
Have a laugh. And I think we should consummate it with a beer and maybe dinner one time.
100%, and you're paying.
100%, brother. Thank you, mate.
Thank you.